Welcome back to Be Productive. As business professionals, one of the things we have to pay attention to and we have to do are our taxes. And I know that talking about taxes is not always the most fun thing to do. So, to help us with the conversation of how we can start to be more purposeful and proactive with our taxes is my friend and bookkeeper extraordinaire, Nora, who runs Nora's Books. So, Nora, welcome to the show.
Hi, Clara. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, we are just coming off of tax season. And I know the idea, if we could wave our magic wands, is all of us would be very proactive and get our taxes done on time. But the reality is, especially for a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they don't always get them done on time. So, what is some advice that you have for some of the people out there who maybe needed to file an extension and haven't quite gotten their taxes completed yet?
So, if they did not file their taxes, I hope they filed an extension. And I want to highlight here, when you file an extension, it's an extension to file, not an extension to pay. So if you actually think you should have paid some taxes because you might owe, make sure you pay your taxes now as soon as possible, because every day you delay those taxes, you're going to be paying penalties and interest. And you want to avoid paying those expenses as much as possible. But if you file an extension, that's good. It's going to take you to give you actually extra 6 months. So it depends, of course, on your deadline. If it was March 15, or if you are LLC or C Corp, that was April 15. So 6 months from that. So your tax return is going to be either due on September 15 if you are S Corp, if you are a partnership or multi-member LLC. It's going to be October 15 if you are LLC, and for your individual return, which is also if you have an LLC, that's where your business returns goes with your personal, or is a C Corp. So 6 months later, you have to file it. But don't wait until then. File as soon as possible, because that gives you a time to focus on your current year. Because if you wait until then, number one, that's the last extension you can get. Number two, it's going to distract you from achieving your goal for the current year.
I get that. So, you mentioned the idea that I can put an extension in to file, but I still should pay. I would imagine this is when working with someone like you, can guide us on giving us an idea and an estimate of what we should pay now. Is that correct? Am I assuming that correctly?
Definitely. You need to be working on with tax professional. Hopefully you are doing your bookkeeping in regular basis. Hopefully you have done tax planning. Now, if you've been paying your estimated taxes, quarterly estimated taxes every single quarter, if you owe any taxes, then you should be fine. You should already know how much you would owe. And let me tell you a secret, like if this is the case, most likely you won't need to do an extension because you're already organized. But if you are already needing extension, maybe you are trying to catch up to get organized, that's fine too. There is nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you would be probably waiting for a document that you did not receive. So you have to wait for that document. So that's fine. So working with a tax professional actually all year round will give you more idea on what you have to pay, or if you owe or not, because you should not everyone will owe, because also it depends on your situation, not only on your business, your marital status, you have kids or not, like does your kids go to school or not, like a lot of other elements. Do you have investments? Are you applying tax strategies that saves you so much in taxes, or you're not utilizing any of that? So if you're making an extension where you do not owe taxes and you know you do not owe taxes, you will be fine. Just do the filing extension to file, and you will be fine, because I mean they don't want to pay you your money right away. They don't care about that. Even
Exactly.
though if you file early and then they delayed your money, they still give you interest. Now
Yeah.
it's taxable. So they will send you actually a letter saying that you got paid that much money in interest. You have to make sure it's included in your tax return.
Oh my goodness, all these little loopholes. I love it. So, when what are the benefits maybe of paying quarterly versus annually? Is that something that's reserved just for LLCs or S corps? Like, kind of explain, the difference between the annual versus a quarterly, tax
Mhm.
prep.
So ideally, you should be paying taxes all year round, like on a quarterly basis. They want to have that. If you are an employee, your employer take care of that part. So this is when you see some significant amount of your paycheck is not there anymore. That's because of these income tax and other stuff. So your employer hold these income tax and pay it off to federal every quarter. That sometimes, like, it depends. Well, this is not this, for federal, it's every quarter. So you don't feel it. You don't feel like you have to pay those estimated taxes because it's already done for you. But when you are a business owner, no one's doing that for you. So you have to be doing that part. So IRS do not want you to wait until the end of the year to pay it. They want to have their money right away throughout the year. So if you owe so much money by the end of the year, you will get penalized because you did not pay in a quarterly basis. So it's kind of like you have to. I know, like, a lot of people don't know about it, but this is why I love talking about it so much, because I realized when I started my business, a lot of business owners, they've been in business for years, they've been paying penalties and interest, and they did not recognize that it's just because simply they did not pay their estimated taxes in a quarterly basis. And I want to highlight here, it's not a filing you do, it's just a payment you make.
Yeah, definitely. So, I see this every year in about January and February, where all of my friends are stressed out and they spend an entire weekend, doing nothing but putting their taxes together. And I know part of that is because we get all the tax statements in January. But what are some other things that people can be doing, maybe on a monthly or quarterly basis, to help alleviate the pain and the stress in the first quarter of the year, so that next year in 2025, how can we prepare ourselves to make it easier next spring for us when we file?
So I would say just make sure you are doing a monthly bookkeeping. Yeah, I highly recommend a tax plan, because this way, like, you would be like record keeping everything, making sure like you're using strategies. Like when you do bookkeeping, you have all these, you are organized. So you don't need to organize anything. And then when you give your accountant your documents, you already have everything organized. So you don't need to worry about anything.
Exactly. It follows the same thing that we talk about in so many of the shows. It's the idea of having that discipline and doing a little bit, because it's going to add up and really make a big difference down the road. So it's the same thing. Do a little bit each month to, again, prepare yourself to make it easier for you. So I love that. And this is why, again, partnering with an expert like you, making sure that you have somebody in your corner. Now, you are not just an expert in the area of taxes. You're an expert in being a business owner, and you have some exciting news because you have also just launched your own show on our Now Media Network. So tell us a little bit about your show.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to share this information because this show just started on March of 2024, if you're watching later. So we had already 5 episodes going. It's already there. You can watch it on Now Media Television. Um, it's actually highlighting women achievement in business and nonprofit. So you would hear about a lot of things like women impact and life and business world. So it would be a lot of inspiring story. And this is actually very dear to my heart because I love to highlight women's impact, because without us, like, men will struggle. We will struggle without them
Exactly.
too. But it's just like we like to brag about ourselves. Like they can't do that too.
Exactly. Well, I am so excited for you, and I love the messages that you are sharing, and you've always brought so much value to our episodes. So, thank you so much for what you're doing. And for all of you that are following, not only take a look at her own show, but also make sure get yourself prepared. Sit down with whoever it is that is helping to guide you with your taxes. If you're doing them on your own, come up with a program where you can do a little bit each month and make sure that you're getting yourself educated so that you can make sure to protect your dollars and keep yourself from those penalties that sometimes we don't know about. So stay tuned because we'll be right back for more Be Productive.